Good day, folks. This is Bob with Fast and Furious. How many of you saw the great news on 5 o'clock? Pradhan Sevak out there taking full credit of reversing what. I'll read out what people are saying, like Amit Shah and everybody, what they're saying about this policy. But don't ever forget this, folks. It was the responsibility of the central government to start with. When they lost the plot, when they couldn't when they lost the entire battlefield of COVID, they threw it back at the state so that they could blame them. And when they finally managed to get some pieces of it together, some idea of when the production is going to come, which I think again they're at sea because they're being fed a whole bunch of gobbledygook. He comes out and says, "Oh, the states were saying this and the states were saying that, and hence we did this, and now we've taken it all back." All right, folks. But as Sitaram Yechury said, "Der aaye, drusht aaye to sahi bhai." He said, "What is the second shot?" It was aware that the stocks were limited and ramp up would take time, and yet it expanded coverage and opened it to the market. As this newspaper repeatedly pointed out, this bizarre policy threw a spanner in the works of the vaccination drive by forcing states to compete against each other for an increasingly scarce public good. Scarce. At least 12 states and 2 municipal corporations floated global tenders for vaccines with predictably no results. The government has showed a belated acknowledgement of this concern and indicated that more than 2 billion vaccines, enough to vaccinate the entire adult population, will be available by the end of 2021. But this will require a massive ramping up of production capacities, which I have a problem with. The changes in the centre's approach that has come to the fore in PM Modi's announcement owe much, arguably, to the public scrutiny and questioning amid the second wave, especially by the Supreme Court, which raised question marks on pricing and procurement, the 2 aspects tweaked on Monday, right? Freebies. Folks, right since January, I've been saying that this has to be a free commodity like the rest of the world. So I don't give this credit to anybody, not this government, to make it free. It's not their money to give it to us free. It is our money. It is our money, folks, taxpayers' money that is being done, and it should have been done in January instead of wasting all the money on Baba Ramdev and Ram Temple and the Central Vista, right? And this is what is happening, right? As states step up, Chorus Center willing to rethink takeover vaccine procurement. This is before yesterday's announcement. And what was Haryana doing? Haryana seeks to know if Malta vaccine company is reliable. I wonder whether Qatar knows what Malta is and how nefarious Malta is, right? Government still seeking middle path on vaccine indemnity demands. So you still know, woof. Nothing happening there, right? India, Japan discuss ways to take forward Quad vax plan. Now, here what an interesting point, right? Which I'll tell you, where Modi has come out and said, I'm going to spend 1,500 crores with eBio. The money mainly for that company is coming, folks, from the Quad. From, as he says, he will tell you, in specific context of JBIC, the decision was that DBT will facilitate JBIC's talk with interested vaccine manufacturers so that the companies take direct funding from JBIC, just as BioE has done with DFC, which is the IMF part, right? The US International Development DFC in mid-March said that it would finance 1 billion vaccine doses by Hyderabad-based firm Biological E. The Quad also sees India's role in extending vaccine coverage in the neighborhood as imperative, and this is the real thing, okay? And while we are doing that, let's see what Karan Thapar has to say about address questions on COVID-19 vaccine policy. First, what happened to Covaxin's full trial 3 results? Secondly, why haven't we been given information about breakthrough infections connected with both vaccines? Interesting. Third, are we doing phase 4 trials to check on the real world effectiveness of the vaccination? No, instead of both DG is coming out and saying, oh, nasal vaccine, all bullshit, folks. States won't have to pay for vaccines as PM. Why should states have to pay for vaccine, Mr. Prime Minister? They are part of our country, right? Facing opposition heat, Supreme Court scrutiny, a bid to turn tables, claim lost ground. That's what he did. Right? But guess what? What does this Amit Shah have to say? Oh, he thinks it's the next best thing after sliced bread. A historic decision, says Amit Shah. Historic for sure. Should have happened many years ago, right? A year ago at least. Central finally admits flaw, accepts our demand, says opposition. Tutu meme at its best, but nail the center, because here they're trying to take credit where they actually should be in a hole for destroying this country so far, folks. Not many people are saying much about it, except for Chidambaram. He's going after it. Let's first get away from the sweet spots which are operating, which again have not much to do with us, but it's something that we should take from. Exports, farm exports, doing really well, right? And this basically shows the outcome of the kind of liquidity that's, or the incentivization of post-COVID that's been given to the rest of the world. That's not happening, right? The second is stocks. Stocks soared over 2% on global rally amid optimism, and it's gone crazy. Stocks are on steroids. No relationship to the Indian economy and to reality. When they correct, they will correct, as you'll see later. If you read an article by Ruchir Sharma, then he's mostly right. Then the other one is unicorns. Unicorns show the light. From fintech and pharma to green energy, they are driving solutions even amid pandemics. Yeah, but they are, right? But they are not the economy. That's the good part that's happening. But that again takes away, and just really doesn't show the real picture of the economy. But see what's happening in the world, which could have happened in India. US economy's rebound is without historical parallel, and that's why exports are going up. Biden set to unveil 6 trillion spending proposal. Where's our equivalent? I have no idea. However, while you are watching this, watch this. Key inflation gauges register big jumps in the United States. You're beginning to find fuel, food getting expensive in India too. What does Chidambaram have to write? And rightly so. Darkest year in 4 decades, Chidambaram on the economy. And you see how it's been building up, right? While, everything's on steroid and Sitaraman keeps coming up now and then. Factory production contracts in Jan, inflation hits 3 months high. Nothing has improved. Rising prices hit households reeling from shrunk budgets. Household savings halved to 10.4% of GDP in Q2, said RBI. Salaried class shrank in FY20. Delhi's per capita income goes down to 3.54 lakhs. City reels under COVID-19 impact. Credit wary women up home loan share, reduce personal loans, plastic money use, have higher credit score than whatever. Individual filing zero tax returns on the rise. Important to note, right? Capital flight, Manila, Delhi, most vulnerable. Remember that too, right? And right after that, down 23p, rupee falls for 3rd day in a row on high crude prices. This is earlier. Things have improved as of March 9th, but it's still shaky grounds. Markets, and here's the point, markets don't realize economy can't withstand higher rates now, and they are around the corner. Surge in bond yields may hit growth. It's already done so. Then what do we have? Consumer confidence hits all-time low, RBI report. Without that, no demand. Second wave may leave a bigger dent on GDP. Keep putting these points, folks. Time for state to get more active strongly in favor of fiscal support. When it's going to come, I don't know. Concerned as edible oil prices soar to 11-year high. India's factory activity falls to 10-month low. 15.33 million people lose jobs in May. Auto sales take the slow lane in May. After 17 hikes since May 4th, petrol is costlier by 4.09. It's not seeing any. The only 2 things that seem to be going up is petrol and the stock market. Everything else is down. Manufacturing activity slows to 10-month low in May. Then what do you have? Economists see bigger hit from second wave than government. So that's the reality, right? 15 million lose job. Okay, Mayday. Consumer goods sales crash on second wave. Experts pay FY22 growth estimates. Oh God. Risks to India's sovereign credit profile up, says Moody's. Where are we living, right? And finally today, India may see U-shaped recovery only by U-shaped. Till now, all his chela chapetas are like V-shape. No V-shape. New jobs to come in a triple as second wave recedes. Trickle if at all, right? And earlier there was a ho, rala, huru, and I had said GST collection for March said to hit a record at 1.3 lakh. I had said this is just a blip. And just as I said so, look at this. May's GST collection dips to 1.02 lakh crores after April record. And you'll see this for the next 3-4 months, right? India Inc. puts hiring plan in slow lane. Like I said, without demand, prime pumping, nothing gonna happen. What's up here? What the Indians doing? More Indians mull shifting base abroad amid pandemic pain. Wow. Alright folks, this is what the economy looks like. So I would be. There's an article by Bloomberg. Virus surge in China are muddying the bullish Asian stock story. Eventually it'll tell up. And like I was telling you, Ruchir Sharma, 2021. Mirror image of 2020. Spectacle of stocks rallying in a deadly recession could flip to stocks going flat in a spirited recovery. Now, most people expect markets to keep rallying as the global economy reopens, but the end of the pandemic is already priced into record high stock valuations. As people emerge from lockdown, they will save less, invest less in the market, and shop more, folks. Watch that either. Here's another one. Address inequality and demand. It says India's post-pandemic recovery has bypassed the non-rich. Inequality and poverty have increased. Contact-intensive services have been badly hit by the second wave. All this will suppress mass incomes and therefore demand. This needs to change if India wants to preserve its long-term growth potential. Markets will not take care of this task. The government must step in. And what does this Chidambaram sir like? The bird and the worm agree. He says they did a basically they did a survey. They had 1,004 respondents. Hear this, right? 880 reported that their income had decreased. Okay. 758 reported that their expenditure had increased. 725 reported a reduction in their savings. And as may be expected, 702 reported they had borrowed money. And this lies the problem, folks. And this is 1,000 people, that's 70%. Let's take the lowest of the four numbers in the answers to the four main questions on income, expenditure, savings, and borrowings. It is 702. That represents 70% of the population that was surveyed. It is not a reassuring picture of a country that until recently boasted that its economy was the fastest growing. And what does Saubik Chakrabarti have to write? Why a stimulus cannot wait. He says, 4 months after Sitaraman's best budget, I didn't think it was the best or the worst. The worst sort of uncertainty confronts every economic decision maker, from migrant workers to middle class professionals to Maharajas of India Inc. This uncertainty is defined both by direct material costs of the second wave, businesses and job creation hit by local lockdowns, and falling sales, household budgets and consumptions hit by current and anticipated COVID medical care, as well as by fearful question about the near future. The thing is, India in June is a different country from India in February, just in 3 months, folks. Hence the question is the budget good as it was, sufficient for these times? Even then I think it was a bad budget. Now it just sucks. India needs a stimulus now. But what's happening on the other lovely front that the government likes? Choksi names abductors, hints at role of politicians, out comes Modi and the gang. Teen gang raped in UP's Bareilly. 2 held raids on to nab other than 19-year-old Dalit girl, Bareilly, UP. And Bhagwat Ji is about Dalits in West Bengal. Hey, get it together, man. Bengal governor concerned over violence. TMC MP denies, accuses Dhanakar of nepotism. Dhanakar doesn't know violence will be sitting under his nose, folks, right? And look at this. Another shameful. Uttarakhand has worst sex ratio at birth, says Niti Aayog. And isn't that bad? But the Indian richest keeps going and keeps getting bigger. India's richest man builds his own underwater cable network, and that is good old Ambani. Gujarat, 22 lakh jobs, sobs for Gift City in 2002. So basically Gujarat seems to be getting everything. But let me tell you, Gift City, Finance City, nothing taking off, right? What's a good thing that's happening? Manufacturing companies hiring more women in non-traditional roles, that's good for India. Adani hikes Lucknow airport charges. He got rammed, right? He had to bring it down, right? Then somebody says, how to replicate the Stanford and Silicon Valley model in India? Impossible, folks. Just by linking an institute and finance and physical area? No, nada. You need freedom of thought. Away from all these Ravi Shankar Prasad and everybody running after you, right? What's another good thing? Tata to go solo, no tie-up with Tesla, says Chandra. I think it's a big mistake. And Adani Railway GMR, others eligible to bid for New Delhi's railway station upgrade. Adani again, folks. Please give me a break. I want to know which politicians are backing this man and Ramdev, folks. All of us need to know. Jai Hind.